Welcome to Discover the Terror. I'm Max Moenschmidt, and this is Herbert, your ghoulish host for this evening. Today's guest is a true horror hound, both on the page and behind the camera. He's a creator of VHS box art, all things horror, and is currently creating his debut feature. CJ Duke, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, where did this all start for you?
My experience with horror?
Yeah?
Well, two stories I always go back to. When I was about 4 or 5, I walked into my father watching The End of the Gate.
Okay.
Specifically the scene where demonic forces are going nuts and the big leathery hands are coming out from underneath the couch, grabbing at the kids.
What a traumatizing scene to see.
You know, as far as things to walk in on your father doing, I guess it could be worse. But yeah, little CJ, it left quite an impact. The second major thing was I had an aunt who lives in rural Louisiana.
Louisiana is a very spooky place. It has a lot of interesting energy to it.
Very much agreed. And this place, I don't know if it was just the time of year, but all the leaves were off the trees. It was very gray, overcast skies. And she took me to the local video store, which must have been a converted bomb shelter. It was a very brutalist architecture, like a gray concrete building. And inside, dim lights, wooden shelves, that sort of thing. But that was the first time I'd ever really seen films that I couldn't explain and had no way of tracking down. I mean, at that point, internet is in its infancy. You don't really know where to go to look for these things. So obviously, I'd been a kid that would look at the horror aisle but wouldn't really venture into it.
Yeah. Okay. Like from a distance, you just see
course.
A couple of the box arts and you're like,
yeah.
Fascinating but scary.
Fascinating is the perfect word.
Yeah.
Is that intrigue there? But in that particular store, I remember the one that really clicked for me was a film called The Jar.
The Jar. Okay.
1984, I think.
Yeah.
Strange art house film. I think it's the only Eraserhead ripoff I've ever heard of.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it American film or is it foreign?
I believe it's American.
Okay.
American or Canadian. But the cover was gray border, just a darkened painting of an overturned jar with a strange little gremlin creature reaching out.
Okay.
Sort of like spilled gasoline liquid with that strange rainbow texture to it.
Oh, interesting.
And I remember at the time there were no photos on the back. I found out later there were, but it was one of those things that it just left an impression that there's so little information on what this actually is.
Yeah.
It lets your imagination run wild.
Oh, 100%. I assume you just picked it up. You didn't bring it home and watch it, right?
No, I couldn't. I was visiting my aunt. I couldn't, I didn't have an account. I didn't have a way to play it. So
it's funny. I feel like going to the movie stores from back in the day, the long lost art of flipping through the VHSs or DVDs, you don't really have that kind of first love. I remember when I would go to the horror section at Blockbuster before my parents would even allow me to watch any of these films. And there's this one 2000s really B movie, maybe even a C movie called Andre the Butcher. Have you heard of it? Maybe not.
Vague,
right?
Yeah.
I just remember the cover being so gripping for me. It was I guess Andre the Butcher himself, which I don't even think he looked like that in the film, but white smock covered in blood, has the 2000s texture of the color palette and everything. It's just so edgy looking.
That sort of grain.
And I think Ron Jeremy was in it. Is that Ron Jeremy, the porn star? Am I saying the correct name?
No, you're
okay.
You're
yeah,
right.
He was in this. I just never watched it my whole life, but every time I saw that box art, I was just so intrigued by it. And that was The Jar for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I know that, as I mentioned in the intro, you create VHS box art. So was that kind of the impetus of you wanting to explore that artistic side of yourself? Is recreate that retro feel you first had?
Absolutely. Just chasing that dragon of that sort of feeling that goes through you when you see something like that. It wasn't pure fear. More intrigue.
Okay.
It's almost that sort of Lovecraftian thing of forbidden knowledge you feel. And it did sort of split my focus between art and writing. But yes, I have been creating VHS art I had a show at the 3110 Gallery. Had stuff featured at Slashback Video through Mystic Museum.
You know what's wild is I went to Slashback, and like when I first moved here, so I guess 3 years ago, and you were there. Like, I remember you behind the counter, but I didn't know you at the time.
I was your guide. I was working there at the time.
That's nuts.
Yes.
That was like the Demonic Toys? Was that? Or my
No, this was, they had just done the Evil Dead event. So there was still some of that left over.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
I remember like the cool sets they had in the back.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. God, I just love video stores so much. And I'm so bummed it's not really a thing anymore. But when did you start creating these box arts?
Well, just to back out a little bit,
Yeah.
video stores are becoming a thing again.
Are they?
I just want to shout out Vidiots in Eagle Rock, I believe.
Oh my God, I haven't been there yet. I've heard a lot about it.
Oh, they just had the 10th anniversary screening of Dude Bro Party Massacre 3, but also Be Kind Video in Burbank.
Oh, Be Kind Video, okay.
Yeah.
And then isn't there Whammy? Isn't that like
Whammy,
a theater?
yes.
More or so, or is it actual store?
Whammy is also sells VHS. I don't know if they rent, but they do have the micro cinema as well.
It seems like physical media is coming back of some sorts. Like on the music side, we see vinyl being a huge thing, and you know the trends they go. But CDs might be having a little uptick again. I don't know if that's gonna last, but I think VHS is just there's some quality about watching a VHS tape that just really heightens a movie.
It's the visual equivalent of vinyl at that point, where there is a warmth to it. There is some sort of unnameable feeling you get from seeing the reel-to-reel.
We went to a screening of that Blood Lake, or what was that?
It was Blood Lake.
Yeah, it was like a forgotten slasher movie that was direct-to-video. And there's just watching it on VHS just had, like you said, had that warmth. It just really took you back to this bygone era that I'm glad it's coming back to some extent.
I don't know if I could see Blood Lake on any other format.
I know, right? We don't need the HD, because I remember, what was it? Silent Night, Deadly Night had a 4K re-release like a couple years ago.
And that's film.
But man, I saw the makeup on the actresses just chilling, like, you know, covering up blemishes, because I don't think that movie ever thought it'd be seen in 4K like that.
Of course not.
So I think it kind of took away that essence of what the original format.
Watching some of these films on Blu-ray, I am now noticing a lot of tan lines.
Yeah.
Particularly in April Fool's Day, which is one of my favorite films of all time.
This is awesome.
But when Ken Olant is in his tidy whities there, so I did notice some tank top tans there. So never saw it before.
Oh, really? But do you think the dream is kind of going away when everything's being updated to these like high res images?
Some films do work better on VHS, but that doesn't mean other films can't work better on 4K. It doesn't mean new films can't work better on 4K. It is part of that debate about like taking something out of its era. How well does it hold up, both technically and on a narrative side? But unless you're doing something like, I think it was the 4K restoration of the Friday the 13th series, where you do start to see the seams.
That was a huge box set, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes. Again, it depends on the film, depends on the care you put into it. But you do have to be careful. Like you said, sometimes you will start to see, how the magic is done.
Why do you think people are so obsessed with like physical media again? Like of recent time, why is it coming back?
Loaded question. You could look at, Amazon's practice of saying, "Oh, you own something," but not really.
You mean like digitally, right? Like
digitally,
buying something instead of renting it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Streaming becomes very fickle. Something could be available one day and then just lost to the ether the next.
That's true. Yeah.
There is that comfort. There is that. There's also just that. I don't know, that tangible charge of having something in your hand. And you get that real heft with VHS.
Yeah.
Obviously, my favorite format, but I'm not saying it's perfect. But there is something about the weight of it.
It's funny because we were in a writers group together at one point, and I've read a couple of your scripts, specifically the Video Nasties series, because I know there's third one coming along, or is it just 2 right now?
It was just 2.
Yeah.
It was we'd had some development with it, and it was one of those things where I had actually written the sequel first, and then retroactively made it a series.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that's we'll see what happens at some point.
Well, the reason why I bring it up is because it really brings that 80s era back. And I wonder, when, as a guy that creates these beautiful works of art for these covers, does that infect your mind when you're writing? You're like, what's going to be the cover shot from this film?
I do like to keep that in mind. I like to keep the visuals sort of firmly in mind. Like you mentioned up top, I am working on my first feature as a director.
Okay, yeah. Witchcraft, right?
Witchcraft, yes. Don't want to say too much at the moment since it's still bubbling.
It's still bubbling, guys.
It came to a point where I wanted to take control of my own vision. I work mostly as a writer and a freelance artist. So it's sort of at the whims of, producers and other collaborators, which is fine, which is great.
Yeah.
But when you're constantly trying to sell your work to other people, there comes a point where you want to just make the product yourself as much as you can. So obviously it takes a while to come up with something that can be done affordably.
Yeah.
Funding seems to be getting more and more difficult to find, as you know yourself.
Yeah.
Witchcraft is something I've been trying to really put my visual stamp on. Lots of pre-production.
Totally. Like, I've read it, and it is very C.J. Duke.
Thank you.
But could you give us like a very light log line of what it is?
Well, I can say that it involves magic and video games.
Magic and video games, okay.
So with that in mind, and I'm talking a very specific kind of video game that doesn't really exist anymore.
Like what?
Sort of the point and click FMV games of the mid to late 90s.
Fascinating. So what are some titles in that genre?
Phantasmagoria, The Seventh Guest, Shivers 1 and 2, and what's that? The really controversial one. Night Trap was one.
Is that the controversial one?
I was thinking of another title, but actually Night Trap was mentioned in a congressional hearing about violence in video games.
Fascinating. Okay, go into that. Like, what about the context was so upsetting?
It was during like the Mortal Kombat era when there was a lot of fervor around that.
Yeah.
Night Trap had actually been made a few years prior. Night Trap was shot in the late 80s, but it didn't really come to home consoles until like the early 90s.
Got you.
So Night Trap itself it's a basic slasher film. Only you control the order that the clips come in for the most part.
So, okay, for people that don't know what a point-and-click video game is, like, can you give us like a description of what that entails, like sitting in front of the computer? What are you doing?
Sure. And again, yeah, it is a genre that's almost non-existent at this point. Point-and-click games, very innovative at the time. Basically, you would get still image or limited motion where you would take the cursor, click on various things throughout the room to solve puzzles, put together, some sort of story. Sometimes you would be rewarded with clips with live actors, usually green screened against, digital effects or miniatures.
With great acting, of course.
Sure, why not? But that's the charm of it. You want that sort of. I always call it Power Ranger acting, and I'm not saying
yes.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about because like the first Resident Evil game, those cutscenes, those live action cutscenes, are like Jill, something with a sandwich or shit like that. Where it's just like that was a beautiful delivery. Where's that Oscar?
Speaking of, I think it's Leon Kennedy, who is voiced by the leader of Power Rangers Time Force.
Really?
So that translates.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, that's sort of like just that sincere, kind of over the top, but not really. It's so ineffable and hard to describe, but you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, point and click games, they had this sort of something to it. It's almost like being stuck in a dark room, like exploring these haunted places by yourself. I remember the one that like really did it for me. My mom for Christmas got me a copy of Goosebumps Escape from Horrorland.
Oh, the book, right?
No,
Oh,
the PC game.
Oh, I didn't know there was a PC game.
Yeah,
I remember reading the book, like the Horrorland book.
Oh, yeah.
And that was great, and the live action adaptation of it too.
With Jeff Goldblum and Isabella Rossellini.
Is that who that was?
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum was Dracula.
Because I didn't recognize them when I was a kid. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they had 2 Goosebumps games. There was that and Attack of the Mutant.
Okay.
But Escape from Horrorland was very much like in that vein of FMV game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty massive. It was a 2-disc game where you would go through these expertly constructed miniatures. Like it was DreamWorks. It was literally DreamWorks. Yeah, you start off in Werewolf Village, going through these miniatures. You have to escape a werewolf, end up at the Doom Slide. I think halfway through you get to Dracula's castle. No, I would spend hours on that game.
Yeah, so I think maybe I'm picturing something else, but it's like live action, and you are controlling like the point and click is like where the camera goes, or is it all like the pixelated 2D or?
Correct. Well, in that case, it is live action. Like it was created through miniatures and digital effects.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of work.
It is, which I didn't even know until obviously years later.
Yeah.
But yeah, the backgrounds, the environments are all miniatures and digital, but the actors are green screened on top of it.
Got you. Okay. And do you think horror was the best suited genre for that format of gaming? Like at least in that era.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you know, it is, and at the time, like it was the most immersive form of storytelling. And you know, some companies took advantage of that more than others, but each one like really does have its charm. One I do want to give a shout out to is Shivers 2. I think Harvest of Souls. Like that game, the atmosphere in there is actually really on point. You're exploring this deserted desert town, trying to find a missing sort of prog rock band.
What a story! What?
Oh no, it's amazing.
Wow, that's what I feel like a lot of people are missing out with these games. Are like the elaborate storylines. Like you're looking for a missing prog rock band.
Oh, you have to make it as elaborate as possible to justify all the puzzles and games.
Puzzles. That's another fascinating thing that I loved about Resident Evil. But it seems like that was the bread and butter of this genre, is solving these puzzles to move on to the next section, right?
Resident Evil is a good pick because that was definitely the successor to this.
Okay, gotcha.
Resident Evil is like, and you know that style of gaming is what replaced this.
Okay.
But yeah, puzzles were very much, you know, the cornerstone of it, because you know it's a point and click game. You have limited motion in your environments. You can't really do a lot of combat, so it was hinging on logic puzzles. And when I say logic, it's in heavy quotes. They are kind of infamous for what they called moon logic.
Moon logic? What is that?
I'm gonna try to think. So if I think back to the Monkey Island games.
Monkey Island games. You're expanding my mind. I haven't heard about any of this stuff.
Oh, Monkey Island was that was more on the comedy side,
Okay.
but it was a game about pirates, but still same like point and click sort of thing. But I remember, if I'm not mistaken, you have to get up to a window at some point, and there's a hole in front of you. So you have to find a pig, kill it, skin it, so you can make a trampoline and jump up the window. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that mind-boggling adventure you have to go just for one little going up to the window sequence of the game. See, that's what I've always appreciated about your work, CJ, is that you're kind of like the king of thrift store media. You go into these forgotten, I don't know, forms of art and really champion them and put a lot of detail into them and like telling all these people, because I feel like a lot of people forgot about this. And I'm glad that, you know, Witchcraft the film this is a huge part of it.
Thank you.
The other aspect of what I loved about the Video Nasty scripts was that you touch on the Video Nasty era of films from the 80s. Did you grow up watching those types of films?
So, as I mentioned before, like I was a very frightened child.
Yeah.
So it took a while before I really ventured into the videos themselves. But growing up at that period, like you couldn't help but be surrounded by it. It was part of the culture, very much so. And I mean, I grew up in the U.S., so I didn't see the impact of the actual video nasty.
Because that was
movement.
the UK.
That was
right?
UK, yes.
Yeah.
Although, again, we were feeling that here,
Okay.
and I didn't, obviously I didn't really pick up on it at that time. I was a little kid. But not to get too current, but I do sometimes feel like we might see a return to something like that.
Let's get current. Why do you think it's coming back in that form?
Video nasties was very much a reaction to censorship.
Yeah.
And a hard conservative swing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I say that with heavy quotation marks. It was almost an 80s version of the Hays Code to a point.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of self-censorship for fear that the government would step in. Video nasties era, there was something a little more punk rock about it.
Yeah.
Because you could get bootlegs of these films. You could, there were ways to see them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I didn't grow up in England, so I can't speak to it too much. But we did have that stripe of pushback in America too, obviously, with the trials about video game violence. And just with the current climate, I do worry we might see a return to something like the Hays Code or something similar.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting that you brought up how you were a frightened child.
Mm-hmm.
And it fascinates me that the stuff you create now is very terrorizing. It's very intense. So how did you kind of come over that block of being that terrorized kid to making horror films?
The first horror film that I had ever seen was, or at least in full myself, was Aliens.
Okay.
And I do remember I watched it through an empty Tic Tac box, just assuming the sort of cheesecloth effect would, somehow lessen it. I don't know what I was thinking, but
child logic, right?
Exactly, moon logic.
Moon logic.
But that definitely kicked something off. At the time, there were the Kenner alien toys out.
Oh my gosh! I remember collecting one of them off eBay when I was a young kid. I didn't know the context of it. I was I loved Alien. I was okay, I want that.
Oh, what did you have? Which one?
That's the Queen, maybe.
Oh, with the she swung her tail.
I think so.
Yeah, she had the little button where she would swing her tail.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think mine broke though.
Oh.
I don't think that it wasn't swinging much.
Oh, that's so sorry. But yeah, just having those out, it sort of made horror more accessible.
Fascinating.
It felt like this is something I want to participate in. This is something I want to be a part of.
The idea of toys, right? Kind of coming out to soften the blow.
The idea of toys, the idea that this is something interesting. There are these cool designs. These are something kids can interact with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Same thing. Because I remember Mezco and NECA.
Yeah.
Was the two companies. I remember getting the Freddy Krueger action figure and Jason, and those were my Marvel superheroes. I didn't really get into Batman and whatnot. That phase went away.
Of course.
I was give me the Freddy action figure.
Nice.
So it seems like that was kind of the same ballpark you were running in.
Very much so. Did you collect any of the McFarlane figures? Was that still around?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
I remember I got this Leatherface one, and
with the bucket.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But there's different variants.
Oh.
Right. There was the bloody variant. There was the clean variant, and I think I was getting off these I was getting them from eBay or something like that. So they only had the clean one, and I was so disappointed. But so I remember I was in my living room. I was 8, 9 or something, maybe a little younger. But I was I took a red Sharpie and I was putting blood splatters on it. And then my mom had a handy guy come in. He's walking past me, looks down, sees the bucket with all the limbs scattered up, and me painting Leatherface red. And he looks at my mom. He's like, "Are you raising a serial killer or something?" She's like, "He's an artist, I swear."
That's fantastic.
So that's my little McFarlane story.
Did you ever have issues with that in school where people thought you were the scary kid?
Yeah, of course. Of course. If you like horror, to a very specific degree, then a lot of people are going to be whatever, you're kind of weird for that. You get over it. You move on. If you love it, you love it. You're not gonna let go just because some asshole says that's not cool.
Yeah. It's nice that the stigma has disappeared for the most part.
Right? Did you have to deal with that?
I
growing up?
was sent to the school counselor because of what I was drawing on the wall.
What, really?
Yeah.
Like what kind of stuff were you drawing?
It was like at the time, like I was really into like body horror.
Okay.
So I would have people with like bicycle wheels like coming out of their leg, televisions implanted in their stomachs.
Very Cronenberg.
It was a little more like rough trade than Cronenberg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was more stitches and that sort of thing. But they were always smiling. They were always very happy.
They're having
about
a
it.
good time.
Yeah. But I do remember that I was sent to the counselor pretty quickly for that. Luckily, they realized, this is not worth pursuing. This is not an issue. But yeah, it still raised some eyebrows.
It's just fascinating how horror is perceived by a lot of people. You go to theaters, you experience it. It's a safe space to see something so disgusting and horrifying. And then, growing up as a horror creator, you kind of have to channel that into something specific in the medium of art. And for you, that was writing and box art.
Yeah.
So what got you into writing specifically? Was that before creating the box art? Obviously, you were drawing at a young age, so it was like hand to hand.
The actually making like the box art pieces themselves did come later. But I went to school for directing. Went to a small New England school called Rockport College. Don't think it even exists now. Yeah, I know. But I directed some shorts. Was trying to move down that path, and I realized it wasn't really for me. I didn't fully like being in control. Ironic, since that's
right.
what I'm
That's what you're doing
moving
now.
back into at this
You had
point.
your full arc.
Exactly. But at the time, I was thinking, like, I need to really develop these stories. I can't just jump right into it. So I pulled back and went more the writing route. I got my first commission back in 2012, I think. Someone wanted me to write a film about the 2012 apocalypse. So, yeah, expect that any day now. But no, I've gotten some nice opportunities through that. I got to work with some interesting people. Was able to write a remake of a 70s survival film, which was really cool. Well, I can't say the title.
Okay. Can't see it.
But no, given a lot of opportunities I wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah.
And the box art did kind of spring out of that. I believe it was 2017. I had moved back to New England for a bit. I was feeling a little burnt out on things, didn't really know where I wanted to direct my energy. So after a break, I decided I'm going to put out my back catalog of scripts, maybe make a website and see if I can build some sort of story around this. So I had the story of Video Nasties, someone who finds these strange videos and starts transcribing them. Website lasted about 4 or 5 months, unfortunately. But I had made a lot of fake VHS box art to support these stories. So I had, started an Instagram account to, get it going. Nobody visited the website, but everyone loved the boxes.
Okay, something came out of it.
Yeah, so started just making those exclusively. And for a few years, I would get a lot of attention that way. I would make a lot of great connections. Like, again, I had pieces featured in Mystic Museum and Slashback Video.
Great places.
Yeah, absolutely. So that got me back into the world. That really reinvigorated my love for the genre.
You just mentioned all these places: Mystic Museum, Slashback Video, all pillars of, at least in LA, the horror community. And you seem like you're very in the middle of this horror community. So what about this horror community that, I don't want to say normie, but I'm going to say normie, is not going to understand? What do they not understand about the horror community?
I don't really know what the misconceptions would be at this point. I do want to say that the horror community has been very supportive. It's very inclusive. It's very progressive. horror as a whole tends to be the most progressive genre that I can think of.
Yeah.
First black lead in a major American film was Night of the Living Dead. So it helps. I don't know if you had a similar experience, but growing up, I felt obviously a bit out of things. Closeted guy in the '90s in the Deep South. It was not so great.
No.
But I really found my people with horror, and it took a while to really get my head on straight. But the last few years have been good. I've been happy here.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel accepted by the horror community too, because it just, on the outside, you're like, how can somebody be so into body dismantling, like ghosts and slashers and all that? But then when you really take a step in and understand it all, you're just seeing its reactions to the world around them.
Exactly.
And that's how we express. And then it gives you a whole new light, which I feel like a lot of people need to understand, and that's why I'm glad we have people like you talk and giving us light to what horror and the horror community really is about.
Thank you. You love your body horror.
I love my body horror. I think again, that scares me. I write the things that freak me out, losing control over the mind and the body. What kind of is the main theme you've noticed in your work?
The last few years, I have noticed monsters taking on a more human appearance.
Fascinating. Okay.
I've also noticed a bulk of them tend to be about relationships and how we relate to other people, which has been helpful. It has helped me through my own feelings for various people. Helped me, really find my place in the world.
And that's the beauty of being a creator, and that's what I value. It's like a form of therapy. What's the future looking like for CJ?
Well, right now, witchcraft is my primary focus.
Okay.
Get a feature out any way I can.
Well, CJ, do you have any last messages you would like to tell the audience watching right now? Source of inspo, anything that you wish you heard when you were starting your career as an artist?
I think be open, always be open. I don't want to say let fate guide you, but also see where you're more comfortable, see what speaks to you, and follow that.
Beautiful. CJ, Herbert and I thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.